Well, hopefully you came back to part 2. I didn't mean to cut it. Didn't mean to cut what? The video. I'm pissed. Huh. But I played it back, some of it, and I realized I had been blabbing on and on and on, and I had gone considerably further. I had really started getting into this colossal being. I began to describe in part 1, and I talked about the head or heads of this colossal, this enormous being. I suggested in part 1 that it probably had like 7 heads, and each head representing a nation, but it's all one creature, all one colossal or enormous creature that exists in our realm, and it is a manifestation of the physical realm interacting with the spiritual realm. I left off talking about the arms or the tentacles of this beast, of this creature. I was naming the arms of this creature. Now I'm really thrown off. Ugh. And let's talk about these arms. Where's my, I know I showed y'all in part 1 all papers, now it's really thrown off. But let's talk about these arms or these tentacles. I described these arms or tentacles as departments in any given nation. I shared that I will be focusing on the departments relative to my portion of our spiritual octopus, and it's the department. I began with the Department of Revenue or Economics, the Department of Education, the Department of Defense, the Department of Communication, etc., etc. If you look at the image of an octopus, all of the tentacles or arms are not the same length. What can this be parallel to relative to our spiritual creature, our colossal spiritual octopus? The long arms are the global departments or outreaches. And as they get a little shorter, then we have federal, then we have state, then we have local, like the city or province, let's go with the state or whatever. These are the tentacles and the arms and the outreach. I don't know if this was a part that I cut out, but it's so important for you to be able to visualize this creature that I will repeat it. If it was already said in part 1, I'm repeating it now in part 2. But in case it was cut off from part 1, I'm mentioning it in part 2. That this colossal spiritual octopus wraps its arms, its tentacles around this whole world. I don't know, and it's irrelevant, if this world is flat or round. The importance or the important thing here is that this colossal creature has the whole world in its grasp. So its arms are wrapped around the whole world. Now, what else was I was talking about relative to the arms? I think I mentioned in part 1 that the tentacles, the arms of the octopus, they kind of just roll or wrap around each other. They interact. These departments interact and they have an exchange. Now for this video, I just want to focus on one department. Remember, this video is about creating an image that you can hold in your mind so that you can see the spirit that has manifested into the physical so that you can hold on to it. It won't elude you. You will see in the spirit. And the creature that we are focusing on, because there are others, is this colossal spiritual octopus that has at least possibly 7 heads, representing 7 different nations. It also has a mouth and beaks for feeding as well as defense. But right now we're focusing on the arms, and the arms, the departments that I like to focus on in this case is the Department of Revenue or Economics. Now this particular tentacle or arm has one of the longer outreaches and wraps around the whole world, and it exchanges with other parts of the octopus or interacts with other arms of this colossal 7-headed, multi-armed octopus, spiritual octopus. Along the backside of these tentacles, but we're focusing on one, and it is the Department of Revenue or Economics, are what they call on our traditional octopus that we threw away over there. We're going to pull it up right now just for imagery. Is that the octopus backside of this arm has all these suckers or suction cups on them. Some octopus have double rows of suction cups all the way up the arm, pushing that traditional octopus to the side. We just need the image in our minds. Let's go and focus on our spiritual octopus that we are dealing with, that we interact with, that we are a part of. It is tangible yet intangible, visible yet invisible. It is spiritual, yet it is also physical. That we are a part of, we interact with, but yet it eludes us. That we can't even fathom how many arms this octopus has. I've given just a few examples of the various departments, the arms or the tentacles this colossal spiritual octopus has. And the suction cups, what are they on a traditional octopus? They help with feeding. They help with moving the octopus along or the locomotion of the octopus. It can also be used in defense. A fun fact about those suction cups on the back of the octopus's tentacle or arm is that those suction cups can act independently. You know, the little suction cups side by side, roll all the way up. Each one, individual, can act independently. While one going left, one could be going right. One goes up, one is an actor. They all can be doing something simultaneously, or they can work together. Another fun fact about those tentacles is that it has, not tentacles, the suckers, is that they are actual suction cups. Lock you in. So now let's identify what can be viewed as a suction cup on our spiritual octopus, this colossal being that we interact with, but it eludes us. The reality of this spiritual creature that exists in the physical eludes us. Now, as I mentioned, I'm only going to focus on one tentacle, one arm, the Department of Revenue or Economics. I don't want to lose this, but neither do I want to cut the video off by mistake again. All right. So we're going to talk about these tentacles quickly. I'm so irritated by that. I don't think that part got cut off. I'm so upset. This is the anatomy. Okay. Let me go here. to try to speed it up because I feel like I'm really taking a long time. But it's important. This information is critical. I don't know if it got cut off or not, so I'm going to repeat what may have been said in part 1. You contact me to perform chair readings for you because you have some questions or concerns. You want some insight into what may happen in your life, in love, in family, work, etc., etc. That's cool. That's cool. When you contact me, my goal really is to help you be able to see yourself, to see what to see in the spirit. And this colossal spiritual octopus is critical to your life experiences. So, as mentioned in part 1, this video is to help you see in the spirit. By seeing even this one creature, there me, that exists in our physical realm, something that is tangible yet intangible, something that is visible yet invisible, something that you interact with and have an exchange with and you are a part with, but yet it eludes you, is a major or has a major impact upon the state of your life, your relationship status, your family, where your family functions, etc., etc. So this is so critical and it's so important for you to understand, to see. I'm so thrown off now. Anyway, we're talking about right now the suction cups that are suckers on our spiritual octopus that pulls in, locks in an individual. I'm sorry, my mind is in 2 different places trying to figure out if I shared information or not. So let's talk about since we are talking about the arm or the tentacle of our spiritual being, which is the Department of Economics or Revenue, I can start with the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, is one of those tentacles. Now, this is where drawing an image of our spiritual octopus got a bit confusing because the heads that are a part of our spiritual octopus are the nations. The tentacles are the departments. And so I guess the Department of Revenue is the IRS. So I will say that the tentacle, the arm itself, the Department of Economics or Revenue, relative to my portion, my area, demographic portion of that octopus, that colossal spiritual octopus with 7 heads and numerous arms, is the IRS. Now, the reason why I bring up the IRS is because the IRS is a major department that truly regulates or oversees. It is the nervous system, or what do we call it? Neurological line to the brain of the colossal spiritual octopus. That one arm is linked to the brain of this creature, spiritual being. And that one arm oversees the economic status of, in my case, my demographic area, the United States, a global area. Anyway, let me read. IRS receives reports on income earned or unearned from such institutions as banks and other agencies based on your Social Security number. So we are talking about a nerve system or a receptive system. The IRS being a department, a major tentacle, a major arm, that has all the little sections on it now. We're about to go into the sections in a minute. Let's talk about this IRS arm. And it has the nervous system as well. And that nervous system, to that tentacle, that department, goes directly to the brain of our spiritual octopus. And remember, the brain of the octopus, of our spiritual octopus, is a database that stores all information relative to or collected from all the departments or all the tentacles or arms of this octopus. Not only does this brain or the database store that information, it also is seen and looking and watching through such things as social media, etc., etc. Now, the IRS has this type of information readily available. Remember, the Department of Revenue or Economics, the IRS, has one of those long tentacles that reaches out and it interacts with other tentacles. And those tentacles have an exchange. And so this particular arm has stored in it and sends this information to a common brain, a shared brain of this multi-head octopus. And that brain contains in it, and the brain is given this information from this department, from this tentacle. It covers tax account transcripts, marital status, type of returns filed for at least up to 3 years, adjusted gross income, taxable income, payment and adjustments made to a particular person's account, tax person. Now, this information, this really critical information that is accumulated, or like the IRS is responsible for pulling up all of the nutrients that the tentacles, where we're going next, has sucked something or somebody in and sucks all the information and nutrients out of an individual. Well, we won't come to that. Now, when that particular tentacle has that information, transfers to the brain of, or the database of our colossal octopus, at any given time, that information can be shared with the remainder of the colossal octopus, the other heads, the other tentacles, the other suction cups. It can share, example, what it may share with our the housing authority, utility companies, insurances, auto, life, etc. Things relative to child support, alimony. If you seek credit, any credit card or credit lines you may go to apply for, banks, and the list goes on and on. These are just a few examples. And again, I'm thrown off because of me mistakenly cutting the video off. And so I'm trying to get in the mood again. I'm going to drink some water. Now, let's turn to the back of the tentacle of our spiritual octopus and look at the suckers. What are some of those suckers or suction cups that draw the entity in? I just recently found out about this institution that has a site. Most places have a site now. And the name of it is the work number. The work number. What is the work number? The work number is an employee's ID number. Or what? Your social security number. And I'm sure it's associated, this next label is associated probably with small business or business, but a business tax ID, the work number. In this case, let's keep it very basic. We're talking about an employee's work ID number or your social security card. Now it says the database on the work number database is provided to us by thousands of employers who rely on, guess who? Yes, Equifax verification service to fulfill their employees' employment and income verification. Equifax requires that verifiers, whoever is acquiring, have employer authorization, the employer's authorization, to access income information. This allows the employee, I don't understand that, the employee, control over who has the ability to pull their income. What am I saying? What am I saying? Remember, right now, we're focusing directly on one of those suction cups. I think I shared the fun fact that each one of those suction cups can act independently or that they can act together. Well, what suction cup are we talking about that sucks in and pulls upon a being, an entity, you or me? This suction cup right here, this one, is the work number. The work number, your employee ID or your social security number associated with your work history and your earnings. Now, this particular system was created by, or is ran by, Equifax. And this is a verification system of employment and income. And in order to access this resource, you have to have the authorization of the employer, not the employee. I find that strange. So an employee would have to be given permission by the employer to pull their own employment and income history. I bring that up because there's a price attached. In order to obtain employment-only verification, the cost is $35.95. Did you hear me? $35.95. We only talking about this subject though. In order to obtain employment and income verification, both of them, it costs $42.95. Did you hear me? In order to obtain your employment and income verification, you must have authorization from your employer to access your own employment history and income earned. And it costs for both $42.95 as offered by Equifax. Now, this system for suction cup, sucking people in, is the number works, is a registered trademark of the Talex Corporation, T-A-L-X Corporation. Big business. Suck you in. Let's go to another tentacle. Not tentacle, what's it called? Suction cup. And it is, I'm not ready for that one. That was Equifax, right? Okay. The next one is a data verification system and service. And this one is offered by Experian, E-X-P-E-R-I-A-N. And the mission of this verification system, as offered through Experian, is to maintain the accuracy of customer contact records database that is uploaded from the suction cup, draws it in from the department, the tentacle, up to the brain database, and reduces errors, overpaying you, and cost associated with bad customer data or data. Let's see. This system, verify and standardize address. That's the info. Oh, it keeps, this database keeps a verification and standardized address, email, and phone data. It's also available as batch or real-time verification services, where they don't just deal with one individual, they deal with a whole block of individuals. It is a global verification coverage, not just locally, globally, the whole world, whether it's round or flat. And it's coverage for over 240 countries and territories. And ultimately, it reduced the cost associated with manual data rework. Many people making errors at work having to go back in and figure it out and fix it. No, we're going to do it right the first time. We're going to know where you live, your email address, your phone number. See, these people right here is the ones that be having creditors calling you and all those telemarketers calling you. And and this is a global data and verification system service. Now let's go on, because we're still dealing with this tentacle and the suction cups. Let's talk about another suction cup that exists that's pulling people in. And now none of these things seem to be talking about you or me as an individual, but are catering to big business, major institutions, doing the work of what? The work of the tentacle, of the arm, of the overall department, to gather information, or whatever the case may be, storing it in the brain of our spiritual octopus, and affecting, influencing, every aspect of your life. See in the Spirit. The next one is the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Service. It's called SAVE. It is a verification process. It has minimal requirements for verification. All they need is a person's first and last name, the date of birth, a numerical identifier, like an alien ID number, Form I-94, arrival or departure record number, student exchange, or visiting information system. That's a whole nother system of like for exchange students or people traveling, ID number or foreign passport. Now it says SAVE has been helping federal, state, and local benefit granting agencies since 1986 by ensuring that only eligible applicants receive government benefits. SAVE serves over 1,000 agencies across the United States. The outreach, the suction cups, pulling in. So like I said, this colossal spiritual octopus that we are drawing an image of in our head so that it will no longer elude us, because we know we are beginning to see. We already knew, but we are beginning to see in the spirit how the spirit has interacted with the physical. It is manifested. And how this colossal creature, this spiritual octopus, has its arms wrapped, its tentacles wrapped around this world. Whether this world is flat or round, that's irrelevant. It is that it is in the embrace of this spiritual octopus. Now I want to take a break right here and go way back to when I was talking about the spelling of octopus. I'm focusing right now merely on the pus or the pus part of the word octopus. In our case, what was it? Multi-una, humus opus. The pus part. Is that it talked about it being about bitterness, malice, rotting, and decay. It talked about the O being an expression of pain and of annoyance and of longing. So this is the essence of this colossal creature that we are in the embrace of. An action. Have you ever been to a department, one of maybe unemployment or social services? This maybe you went through some service relative to the SAVE, the housing department, any of these places, and was treated, or even the credit bureau, and treated rudely and cruel. We're going to come back to that. But who are you treated rudely and cruel by? People. You, others in the individual, in humanity, somebody that worked in one of those branches, in one of those arms, not only in one of those arms, but in one of those suctions. You as an individual, I'm jumping ahead because I got thrown off. Inquiring about whatever you need to inquire about, to do what you got to do, trying to handle your business, are treated atrociously, as if you are the criminal, or you are some form of threat to that institution that you have, let's say, been manipulated into working with, working for. In short, you were manipulated into being their food. We're going to come to that. We're going to come back to that. Anyway, let me go ahead because this is going on. What have we been talking about here? I'm going to try to speed this up because I'll do that. We have been talking about a spiritual creature that resides here in our world, in our realm. It is tangible yet intangible. It is visible yet invisible. We interact with it. We have exchange with it. We get its existence eludes us. We can't see in the physical. We can't see in the spirit. Yeah, let's talk about that. Now, I want to go back to the name that I created. And it was what? Multi-Umas Opus. We're talking about a unified species rotting away. All descendants suffering and pain relative to its interaction with this colossal beast. The image we have created of this spiritual beast that exists, that is physical but not physical, invisible but not invisible, is that of at least a 7-headed octopus with eyes that can see all of you and your loved ones in your life, that which it witnesses, it stores in its brain, a database. Not only is that the case, this creature has an uncounted, at least by the general public, amount of arms or departments or outreaches. These tentacles or arms, the outreach, is global, not only local, but global. We have within our global structure, state, we have federal, state, as well as local, and back to the state, province, and states, and locals, and cities. All of these governmental arms, tentacles, departments have a mission. And they are to keep in line, keep working effectively, all the little tentacles on its arm. And all those little tentacles, some of which I gave examples of, which was of save, or the what is it, the number, was it the number something? Oh, I didn't even read those. What was the name of that crazy one? The something number. That was just crazy to me. Where it keeps track of your employment history and income, and you got to ask for it from your employer. Be granted authorization. Here were some other things, other suctions that suck people in. These are the institutions that we have to deal with because this entity exists. There is something called the IEV system, and it's associated with HUD. And HUD is a real estate assessment, real, REAL, centered to ensure that limited federal resources are available to service as many eligible families as possible by reducing, here we go again, reducing the high incidence of program errors and to improve the integrity and accuracy of information contained in the PIC and IEV system of PHA, which I think that's the Public Housing Agency or something. So once again, here's another suction. People that go through HUD or this PHA, the Public Housing Agency, are sucked in because they're working with need assistance, whatever the case may be for any individual here in, well, this United States, because I'm focusing on just my little portion of the octopus. Their status, economic status, is a profile. That's what I guess I'm trying to get you to see. All of these little suction cups on the tentacles, like the first one is the number, what the heck I do with that? Because that was the one that just really had me going. The work number. The work number. Now, we're not talking about people that may need some assistance. We're talking about the work number. Your Social Security card or your employee ID number is a profile builder of a person working every day, supposed to be a free spirit or a free individual in this world. You are a profile. And your work history and your earnings, you must gain access through or authority from the employer to get your stuff. That's suction. And it costs. It costs you. And then say for, I guess these are like aliens or immigrants, foreign folks, because they want to travel the world or have to go to school somewhere else in another part of the world, some exchange, whatever the case may be, moving across the globe to get work opportunities. That was part of our history. Here's another profile, suction. They're sucked in. Everything is being verified and kept track of through these suctions, these institutions. Our credit bureaus, Experian and what was the other one? Equifax are working hand in hand, or are a subdivision of the overall arm or tentacle of the Department of Revenue or Economics. Now, as I mentioned, I think in part one, this octopus, this spiritual octopus, knows more about you than yourself. You can't keep no secrets from this colossal spiritual octopus. Now, the reason why I bring up that you can't keep no secrets, I'm gonna hold off on that. 15 more minutes, let's see if I can get it in. I want to finish talking about our spiritual octopus. I want to finish talking about it relative to the arms first, because I was just focusing on one arm. There are an unnumbered, uncounted by layman, the everyday working man and woman arms on this beast that has sucked us in one way or another. Whether you need assistance, whether you work, you need credit, or it sucks you in some way into its grasp. Now, I mentioned that the arms, the tentacles, have vary in length and outreach and interaction with other tentacles. Now, I want to talk about how, remember, the overall spiritual octopus, this colossal creature that embraces, and I can't say embrace is the right word, but has a grasp on the whole world, whether it's flat or round, that's irrelevant, is that this colossal spiritual being that has manifested in the physical has a grasp on the whole world. So I'm going to talk about its grasp still from the economic standpoint, because remember, we have a multi-head spiritual octopus that has an numerous amount of arms. Each head has an arm of economics. Revenue. So now let's talk about these arms connecting and having an exchange, the overall octopus. And we'll call this the global financial part of this octopus and its exchange with itself. And how its exchange with itself is like, let's say, just hypothetically, the world is round. The one nation's economic tentacle hangs this way, while another nation's tentacle hangs in the opposite direction. And this continues for each head, relative just one arm to economics. We're not talking about any of the other arms, any of the other tentacles, any of the other departments, just the ones relative to economics. And how they do what they do in their location. And then they wrap together. And they come and they have an exchange. Now this is the global financial experience within the spiritual octopus, our spiritual octopus. And that information that shared, it becomes a shared information, which is also stored in the single brain within the octopus, covers, I hope I'm saying this right, look at this whole going on, like the current stock market, stock exchange, international trade, commodity, bonds, emerging markets, mutual funds, hedge funds, interest rates, T-bills, securities, etc., etc. Those particular tentacles, out of all the tentacles that I talk about, they have what we can say a shared language, or I can't think of, like nerve reaction. They have their own language. And it's called XBRL. It's X, I should roll, it's like the small e, capital X, TENSIBLE. And it's extensible business reporting language. And it is an accumulative, this is what I'm trying to say, An accumulative financial statement, the brain of the database, the data, the data. And note, it's a accumulative financial statement and notes data sets. So everything is compacted, everything is coming together in one brain. Let's see, it's OFR, Office of Finances Research, so they can research everything. This is the global part. And it's a bilateral, this is something else I found interesting. Now, as I mentioned, when I do tarot readings, astrology, and even in this video dealing with this enormous, even colossal spiritual octopus that we are dealing with or interact with or interact with. As I was researching this, I came past this and I thought this was so interesting. So this is just like a little extra note. That when I was looking at the global financial departments, the various arms coming together to pull data, that there's something that exists under this Department of Office of Finance and Research. What they found out, researching, is it is a bilateral repo data collection. And how that bilateral repo, I know y'all know about what a repo is, data, that collection in the brain, is a lubricant that helps to keep the global financial system operating. So, let's talk about each individual experience. Anybody that's ever experienced any form of repo. Some folks get their car repo. Some people get their house repo. Some people get their business repo. Heck, it's been, what was his name? Ron Isley, I think, singer, had some stuff repo. I'm talking about people that get wealthy, have things repo. And so that stuff that is repossessed from its original buyer, we all know that it's resold. But it has been research done that shows that that's such a lucrative market that no matter what, it is a lubricant that helps to keep the global financial system operating. Now, I just bring that up because it was interesting. And I bring that up too because this is a part of the function of this colossal spiritual octopus. I termed multi-humus opus. All of us in the world under this system rotting and decaying and lost. It was something about lost right there, but I got it thrown off. So now, how do I want to close this video up because the time is clicking on? And I know I'm going to forget something because I put everything out of order. There were some traits about this octopus I want to focus on before I close this video. Now, mind you, I'm not talking about no basic traditional octopus we know about. I'm talking about this creature. Once again, it is tangible, but yet it's intangible. It's visible, yet invisible. You know of it. You interact with it. You work for some of these divisions, etc., etc. We're about to cover that. But for right now, even though you are aware of this creature, its existence still eludes you. You don't know that you are seen in the spirit. So, this video was to help you embrace that this is a part or a component or a way of seeing into the spirit. Now, understand that our very souls, the state of our soul, depends upon our quality of life here in this physical realm. We can either make this space, this place heavenly and conducive to us, me, you, and every individual in humanity that is or will be, having the opportunity to be re-educated so that we can get into the good graces of our Creator so that we can ascend to be made whole. But it requires our re-education. What are we being re-educated of? Whatever it is, that whatever our downfall was, that we fell from our Creator's grace, we need to be re-educated. Or we can stay in the embrace of this colossal spiritual octopus that represents unified decay. And this is just one creature. And continue to descend down into lower vibration experiences. I've seen a place that is so dense and so dark. It's so dense, it's dark that light doesn't go there. There's only burning and longing and yearning. But it's up to us. It's always up to us. But in order for us to be able to consciously decide if we want a heavenly state or we don't care, we want a hellish state, we're going to descend. I think it's important that we are able to identify what we're dealing with and to understand its true nature. In this case, I am merely talking about this single, colossal, spiritual octopus that we are dealing with. That we don't seem to realize that this is a manifestation of the spirit interacting with the physical, bringing something into existence. At the beginning of this video, I talked about the octopus brain being very small in comparison to its stature, physical stature. And I bring the brain back up because the brain represents that initial spiritual influence. That brain represents those in this physical realm that have a physical vessel that embodied, followed the instructions of those dark spirits. They are the brain. They are the ones that create the database to collect all information, to become all-knowing. So that it what? The colossal spiritual octopus, the seven-headed colossal spiritual octopus with so many arms that no common man or woman has probably counted them. That entity, that creature, will be able to maintain its grasp upon all of humanity. And it does it in multiple ways. One way is to suck beings, me, you, and other individuals in humanity in, like a state of dependency. But it's a delusion. That's another thing. It's a delusion. That's why it's hard for you to see what is really taking place. Is it there? Isn't it? Is this being, is this creature here, or isn't it? Yes, it is. But it's hard for you to see. Why? Because number one, this creature is so enormous. It is colossal. That as a mere small being, only seeing or using your five physical senses, you can't see that we are dealing with a spiritual creature that has been growing. It has been feeding for hundreds, thousands and thousands of years. And now, it is what I keep deeming as colossal. Many can't see it. So why do I keep saying feeding? Let's talk about the Department of Work and Labor. I'll use it as an example. The Department of Work and Labor. In that department, there are suction cups. I don't know which cup suction in. But you went because you needed to feed yourself, house yourself, clothe yourself, do whatever you needed to do. Because this physical world is demanding. And you took a job, you got your position, whatever the case, you open your own small business. It's the energy that you have been giving to whatever institution or business or corporation or whatever you do is what's feeding this octopus, this spiritual octopus. This is a big beast. What are you feeding it? You're feeding it your time, your energy, your life. This octopus, this colossal spiritual octopus, is also feeding on all of the natural resources in this physical realm. It's feeding. Some of us go to work and we excavate different natural resources, we refine them, we use them in different ways to advance technology, etc., etc. The octopus, that colossal spiritual octopus, is feeding. That colossal spiritual octopus cannot feed off your life, your energy, your time, if you didn't take the position that you have, like relative to, let's say, different corporations or businesses. Now see, this is the trick. Here's the illusion again. You can't see, but you're going to see in the spirit. Is that it doesn't matter what level you are on. You are a part of the system. What do I mean? Now, we've already talked about the brain of the octopus being very, very small. It's a database, really a database. But let's talk about that tentacle. One tentacle. We know it's a whole bunch of just one. Do you know that tentacle could not move, even though it may exist? The tentacle may exist, the physical body of this colossal being may exist, but it could not move. It cannot function. It cannot suck people in. If you don't sit at the desk and make the demands on behalf of the heads or the brains of this colossal octopus. Example, if you sit in any given office, we went over a few relative to economics, and you say, like we talked about SAFE, that has to do with foreign exchange, and you do ABM. You are a part of that section. You are the muscle and the reflex to that department, that arm, that tentacle. Where someone else may be a part of the providing income verification or work history verification, and what you're charging the people that actually did the work. You perpetuate that. You are the reflex or the muscle in that next tentacle. And remember, it's the tentacles that are gathering the information, that are perpetuating the plan of the brain, of this colossal spiritual being. You're doing the work. It could be I'm doing the work. We're all doing the work. What I'm trying to get here is a difficult concept to relay. Just keep in mind the image of an octopus. An octopus, a creature like you've never seen before, is so enormous. It has so many arms and so many tentacles that, and you can't see, but you do. You can't touch it, but you do. You interact with it, but you don't know you interact with it. You don't know that you are the locomotion to its tentacles, to its initial way of this initial relative to the eyes, because it's the initial way that those heads, the head of that, the spiritual colossal octopus, can tap into the rest of the world. Them little 7 heads at the top can't do it all. They can put you in position as a tentacle, as a suction on one of those tentacles, one of those departments, and you do its being. It would take us all, but that's why we're in the ascension process. Or people don't talk about it, dissension. We stay within the unit of this creature, this unified, colossal creature that is, by definition, full of pain, agony, rot, and decay. Essentially. People don't talk about that. Or we can wake up and see, now mind you, I gotta say this, that there are more entities that exist in this realm than just this one. I'm just using this one as an example. This entity as well is connected with, or can be connected with the person suffering from depression. Depression is also one of those ascension slash descension symptoms. Why? Because on the soul level, we know what's going on. But it's the illusion that exists in this physical realm that many of us can't get past, we can't see in the spirit. And so it's this inner battle that is taking place that leads to depression. We are in the embrace of a colossal spiritual octopus that has a grasp on the whole entire world. And we, many of us, are how it is capable of operating, of continuing to have its outreach. Now, I want to run over some other things real quick, and then I'm going to let y'all go. I'm going to drink some water. I wish I could get more people to interact with me here on what this is. This ain't Facebook. This is the YouTube. An octopus also has, what is it called? It has like a hide or a cape. I can't remember. I got stuff everywhere. And this hide or cape is a protection. Just another thing. Relative to an octopus subject, relative to this spiritual octopus, this colossal spiritual octopus, we are paralleling it with the physical traditional octopus we know of, but we're dealing with the colossal spiritual octopus. You need to understand that it has the defense mechanism, just as does our traditional physical octopus. Let's talk about it real quick. That the defense mechanisms are in two categories, and they are passive and active defense. So let's talk about the passive defense of our colossal spiritual octopus. You tell me, have you ever had any experience that line up with this one of these subcategories of passive defense against any threats, attacks, or people seeing in the sphere, having clear vision, being able to see them and call them out on who it is or what it is, and hides away. Anybody departments? Does this ring a bell? Anybody hide away? Now we're talking about this colossal spiritual octopus. All of the nations, all of the departments, we'll call the subdivisions of those departments, the suckers that put people in. Have you seen any hideaway? Have you ever seen any nocturnal behavior, things done in the night hours or redirecting your focus while they do something else? How about color change or camouflage? Yes, referring to, I want to refer to the color blue of the last video I made. Color change or camouflage. We were identifying in the last video that I made, I can't remember the name of it, but it talked about the color blue. And the color blue was a color that was twice more alluring to mosquitoes than any other color. It was a color that, anyway, the color was associated with causes, a cause, a purpose. And so they will camouflage their mission, their purpose, their goal. And this is the overall trait, or is an overall trait or characteristic of this colossal spiritual octopus. It is constantly camouflaging itself. Again, it is a physical entity, but it's also a non-physical entity. It is tangible, yet it is intangible. And this is the camouflage. You are a part of it, or you deal with it, or you deal with it, or interact with it in some way. You are aware of it, but yet it eludes you. This is the camouflage or the illusion that is set up. This is one of its passive defenses. And what are we talking about here? We're talking about a spiritual creature that has manifested into the physical and created a body for itself using humanity. Anyway, and another thing is, I need to point this out, this is another passive defense that this creature has, as our traditional octopus does as well. But we're not dealing with the traditional octopus, we're dealing with our spiritual octopus. Is that it makes its body seem larger than it actually is. So I refer back to the brain of the octopus, the brain being smaller relative to its stature to its body. The brain, those spiritual entities that have been embodied in a few elect or select physical beings here on this earth, the mind, the brain, the ones that say, let's build a database and put all these components in place and build us a physical body in the spiritual realm. That brain is small in comparison to all the parts and components of the creature. The eyes relative to social media, profile building, or the tentacles, the arms of the departments. The departments are nothing. They are like labels or titles, halls to push you down into. You go down into those halls for works or for jobs to do, to perpetuate. You become the suckers on the back of the tentacles, the halls, the arms of the octopus. You are the body of this colossal spiritual octopus, all manipulated by a central brain. And so when one calls that spirit that is manifested into the physical out, anybody that has done it historically, it lets the brain, tells the body to swell up. And what is that relative to here? It's saying, hey, you department in this sector, flex your muscles against that threat. And not only that, remember, each suction cup can act independently or they can act together. And so what ends up happening? The brain says to the tentacle, the arm, the hall, that division, it's nothing but a hall, a title, a division, a sector, to keep things in order. Categorized. You people, you each individual that work in this department, you're employed here. Flex your muscles together. Bounce the person from here to there. Have you ever gone to a place to seek something, whatever it is, and don't nobody seem to know nothing? You bounce from one place to another. You told you're wrong, you did it incorrect. You're never right, they're always right, you're always wrong. You're confused, you're getting nowhere. This happens considerably to people, I've heard, that have had, what's the name of it? Credit fraud. Credit fraud. Somebody uses your name, social security number, date of birth, everything, get a line of credit, run it up. Now you're being garnished for something that you didn't do. When you go to try to straighten it out, you bounce from one institution to the other. And you calling them out, each of them as you go, like, hey, this is the case, I've proven this, we'll go here. Nope, that ain't working. Bouncing around, that's just one example. Now, those are passive defenses. And that was a model, that's on a basic level. But there are big global level passive defenses to the entity being revealed for what it is. And one is this video getting cut off. But there are massive examples. We can say, I talk about, here on my channel, I talk about human experimentation. When people in power with titles try to point out that there is illegal happenings taking place, what happens? The brain tells that department, the suctions, flex your muscles, blow your body up bigger, bounce around and around, just try to scare them off from revealing what I am, what it's the spiritual, this colossal spiritual octopus, which is only one spiritual being that is manifested into the physical. Anyway, now let's talk about some more of that active defenses. Active defense is the beaks and biting Each head of the octopus has a mouth because it's been feeding. It's been feeding on all of you that are down the hallway, down in that tentacle, popped out as a suction cup, doing a bid of the brain. That brain, that octopus has a mouth, and it's been eating on your life, on your energy, on your time. For some folk, it's until they pensions or cut them or whatever the case may be. It feeds on the resources of the earth, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, but it also has a beak. It also has a beak to bite. So let's say you, as an individual, have a particular job in a particular department, and you're in a department in a particular subdivision of that department, the suction cup. If you cause a problem, the octopus has a beak to chop you off. You're scared. We are scared. Understand that all of this is a part of our spiritual battle. And based on how we deal with this particular spirit, because this is not the only one that is manifested here in the physical, I repeat, but we're talking about this particular spirit right now. You're scared to be bitten off, number one. Because you need a roof over your head, you need some light, gas, some water, you need some food, you need some clothes. You want to have a quality of life. Life is short. You're scared. I understand. Me too. Let's talk about that beak relative to the other 6 heads. Around, because our colossal spiritual octopus has about at least 7 heads. It has a beak, and that beak can be used to peck or bite another nation. Whole another video. And I have made videos about that in short. And then another aggressive defense that an octopus has is to withdraw and inking. Now, what does inking do? Inking, it hides or obscures or prey. Not what they call it, prey. If the octopus is not the prey. But if the octopus is threatened, if this colossal spiritual octopus is threatened, it will ink. It goes back into camouflage. The illusion, the delusion, it sends something into space to obscure your visibility of it and its existence and what it consists of. It also is, there was one other thing. Or it will create a dummy. A dummy. So let's say, hypothetically, case scenario, check this out. This colossal spiritual octopus got so many arms. It is threatened. Say, hypothetically, one of its arms or departments is threatened. It's small. It can spray or ink. And that ink moves out and can be perceived as an arm or another tentacle, which would cause a predator, that's the word I was looking for, to attack the ink rather than the actual octopus, giving the octopus the heads up. So it's like throwing out a decoy. And the last thing that I found interesting was that, now this, you know how I say this physical world offers all that we need. And one of the things that we get to use, at least if you got enough money with some insurance, is an anesthetic. I didn't know that came from octopus, our traditional octopus we set aside. But we use it as an example. That the octopus has a toxin or a poison within it, and it can inject, I guess with its beak, that toxin into a predator. And it is an anesthetic. And that anesthetic can and has been known to kill predators or in real life, in nature, humans. But we also know anesthetic. Now this is just a little fun fact. Going back to when I talk about how this world provides everything for us, that the basis or the foundation of the chemical associated with creating an anesthetic, you know, the kind of stuff you get before you go into surgery, comes from an octopus. And you know, it helps to relieve pain and what do you call it? I didn't write it here. I figured I could do that. Oh, anyway, it causes you to lose feeling or sensation. You know. So hopefully it has this ability to paralyze or to poison or to kill any predator. It makes that predator its prey. Now, all of that, what I said, I'm going to highlight it, and then I want to talk about one last thing. Thank you if you rode the wave with me. At the beginning of part one, it was only supposed to be one video, I started talking about targeting individuals and gang stalking. There's something else I want to talk about. I talked about the ascension process / ascension process kind of in detail. So now I'll just deal with target individuals. Let me highlight quickly what we've been talking about. I'll continue to do so through this video. But it was a lot of information. So I attempted to show you how to see in the spirit. You see, but you don't hold on to it. You allow what you know to elude you. What you know is the truth. And there is a spiritual entity that has taken on a physical body here in this world. And it is the actual body of this creature is composed or motorized by us, me, you, and every individual in humanity. And this creature can only bring loss and decay and pain on the way to as we decay as a whole, collective whole. Anyway, many ask this question relative to being a targeted individual. How is it that certain people in humanity are target individuals? Why is this popular now? I have an answer. And the answer is that this colossal spiritual octopus that I speak of has had thousands and thousands of years to grow. For one civilization, I think, or empire to the next. It has grown, it is fed, and now it is colossal. It embraces the whole world. This is just one spiritual entity that has manifested into the physical, using us in order to create a physical body in this world. And as mentioned, each arm, each head of this colossal creature, this beast, are interacting and having a continuous exchange nonstop. It's like how your blood flows through your body. It's the way that this creature interacts with itself. It's blood. And I also talked about how the octopus, this colossal spiritual octopus, tentacles each have suction cups, and how each of these suction cups can act independently or simultaneously. All for the purpose of doing what? Feeding the overall beast and keeping it all-knowing. How can a person become a targeted individual? Well, each of us are sucked in by one of those suction cups. Now, it depends on an individual's experience. Once sucked in. Some experiences, as I spoke early, may cause or lead to an individual being bounced from suction cup to suction cup. Always wrong, always wrong, always wrong. Remember, the overall thing is a profile has been created of an individual. Therefore, no matter where the individual goes after that profile is accumulated, after those experiences with each section and of each department has been experienced, the profile is built of a particular individual. So no matter what institution they go to, in whatever arena of life, because remember, we have departments that cover every individual arena of life. That person is already profiled, therefore leading to them being targeted as an individual. Now let's break it down to our intimate lives. How does a person begin to be gang stalked? Well, as I mentioned, it is us individuals in humanity that work in these departments. Remember, the departments are merely halls, just vessels, just tentacles that could do nothing if they didn't have the suction cups, all the little suction cups. Us performing the act of suction, for lack of better words, doing the beat of the brain. Now, each of us, we are localized, common to a familiar area and people. So, let's say wherever you live, a profile has been gathered of you through the institutions that you have encountered, you had to work with you, or you had to go through for one reason or another, this super colossal spiritual beast. That is only capable of doing what it does by puffing its body up, which is us, the illusion. And how can I say this? The individuals in the seats, in the offices that do the jobs are our neighbors. They are our family members. These are even the people that we see in the street and crossing at the malls and the markets. Therefore, these people already subconsciously know how an individual is profiled. And therefore, they embody, live out the essence of the spirit of the being that it works for. that is a part of. And so that's how we get the gang stalking. So much of this is on a subconscious level. You're conscious, but you don't trust yourself. And so all of this knowing that you have is forced to remain in your subconscious. And from your subconscious, you will act. One last thing I started talking about, and then I'm going to let you go because yes, it has been long. And I appreciate anybody that rode this way with me. I really do. I really do. Thank you. It is only you folks that watch these videos like this through that inspire me to continue to go and move forward and work on my channel. And I talked about the cape or the covering of the octopus, another level of defense. And that cloak is also created by the fabric of us, the skin of us. And that skin would be symbolic of militaries in this world, all stitched together, whether people realize it or not. You got to be able to see in the spirit. Covering, as a covering, the skin, a protective shield for this colossal, spiritual octopus. So it's really about, in closing, it's really about coming to acknowledge what you know, to be able to hold on to a physical image, because we're in the physical. We identify most with the physical. It's the same concept of artist redemption of the devil. Same thing. Spirit, when it comes to religion, they knew that nobody listened, but they could see. You can talk about the devil all day, but it was not until people saw nails and horns and fire that they took the devil seriously. But then they got lost. It's the same concept here. It's the same concept here with this creature I speak of. You won't take it seriously unless you have an image to look upon, to be able to come to see in the spirit, understand that there is a spiritual entity that has created for itself in this physical world a physical body. And the majority of that body, the physical body, and its ability to function, was all created with us. I hope I made that make sense. If you have any questions, just type it below. But I thank you all again for coming here to Can Angels Fly and attempting to ride one of my crazy waves. Bye.